Good morning and sliding into afternoon. Judy, Allan here, San Antonio, Texas. It's a little on the dark side today because my techie has an opportunity. Whoop, whoop, because electricity went out yesterday because of the storms and rain. So that's okay. Today we're making something fun, right? It's always about fun. So we can go down the hands. So we're going to show you 3 ways that you can use those scraps from your 6x6 paper. And if you didn't see it, there was a Technique Tuesday about a week or 2 ago that Stampin' Up! Did. It's using that same concept, but instead we're using 6x6 scraps from our 6x6 paper. All right, let's go down the hands and do it, right? Let's do it. So we're using this paper right here. We're going to be using this for our monogramming. And then I also use layering circles die, and then we also have a new circle punch. That's 1 3/4 that we'd be using also. So I've already used some of this stuff, but I want to show you how this is done. Now you start off with, you can't hardly see it, and I'm going to move this other piece of paper right here. This is a 4x6. Yes, because this paper is only 6 inches, and I say that. I hope it wasn't because that's my son. It doesn't matter. We're going to use 6 inches. I think what it is I have my paper cut down to 6 because I did a paper share. But that's okay. I'm not going to think too hard about that right now. The main thing is we're going to take some 6x6s. We're going to sit there and cut them in 1/2 inch strips. All right? So this is my scraps that I had. I cut them 1/2 inch strips. And we're just going to put some tear and tape on the back of these. All right? So I'm just going to show you. I'm not going to do it each and every one of these. I'm just going to show you because I've already got some of my stuff already done, so I can show you. We're going to make the cards. I'll show you how to make the cards, and we're going to make it really classy with some monogramming. That's all you got to do is you're just going to come behind these. So when I did mine, what I did is I set up there and did my 1/2 inch strips of 2 of every paper design, right? Because every piece of paper has 2 different designs on it. It has one on the front, one on the back, and here's a good example. This is the same designer series paper. This one's got tape on it. And if you flip it over, that's what it looks like on back. So this one, because I was talking when paying attention, I actually did that on 2 of them, so I'll put one aside. Let's find another one that I did. Okay, this is a zebra one, and then if I come over here, oh, this is an easy one. This one's right handy. Well, here's the zebra one too. So here's what is on this side, and then when you flip it over, so you got 2 different designs. So when I cut mine, I made sure to do 2 strips so I'd have 1 of each side so I can mix them up. So the next step is, what I did is I just put mine in order that I wanted them, and you just sort them out any way you want. I sort of did mine. I made sure I tried to make sure my foils weren't next to each other. So if you were looking at foil, just show you can see the reflection there in the foiled paper. And this has got some gold foil on it. And if you're out there, please be sure to say hello, right? Okay, this is the other side of the paper. And then here's some more reflective paper. So I just sort of mixed this up. Yeah, rearranged it. So I'm just making sure that I have everything mixed up. Okay, so just figure out how you want it, right? It doesn't really matter because it's fun either way you go. Now the way I started out with mine is I'll put some of these aside. I literally started out, I've already got the paper on here, and I just tear and tape. And then this is clear. And so what I did is I just started with one at the top, and I just went all the way across. And then I sort of spaced it out to see how many I could get on my one sheet. So we all do different. We all create differently, right? So it just depends how much of a gap you want between each of your different strips. Now see, I didn't want to, I'll move one of these down here. Move this one down here. So I didn't want a dark one next to a dark one. So right? So I just kept on and just do it. And then what I did is find out how many that you want on here. Now because I'm using a 4-inch strip, I'm going to put the silver down here first. So since I used a 4-inch strip, I got this at the top. I can get one more easily on the bottom that you can see. I'd have to really squeeze it because you're going to want just a little bit of gap in here, and I'll show you why in just a minute. So I'm actually going to sit up here and end with this one here. Okay. All right, let me set these two aside. So if you're going to space it the way I did it, because now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strips. So I put one at the top, one at the bottom. Let's see if the other one's got it on there. If not, I'll get another one. All right, open it on here. So I just spaced it out, right? Because we just want a little bit of a space because we're dealing with clear. So we know that if we put paper underneath it, any kind of solid cardstock, it's going to make it look really nice and stand out. So that's all I did. I just took the one at the top, one at the bottom. Let's see if I can get this here. All right, if not, I'll get my tool to help me. Cut off my fingernails. Some broke, right? All right, and so I'm just going to go down to the edge of it. You know, and I can see mine. You might not be able to see the clear right here. But anyway, then from there, I just centered the next one, right? I just made this one right slap in the middle. And this way, it gives you the guideline of how much space you need to put between all the other ones, depending on how you want to do it, right? And that's the main thing, is just so that you know how much space you have to work with. Because I wanted my whole 1/2 inch on here, because this is a 1/2 inch. So if you just wanted to center it and give you an idea, it's just not a bad view in itself like that, right? I just come slap down the middle. And if you need your paper, I got my paper right here, so I know where my slap down the middle is, and I actually got a grid line, right? Okay, so we're going to fill this all in. Then once we fill it in, I just trim the edges, like right here. And then from there, we can start building it, okay? So let me set this aside so I can show you what I've done and what we're going to do. Okay. So this is what I did first, all right? And we're starting with our larger card first today, and we're going to go down to 3x3s cards. So this is, by the time I trimmed it down to a little bit more than 3.5, it's like 3 5/8 it looks like. I feel like I'm sewing. 3 5/8 is what it looks like, yeah. And then this side here, you can see the height is, well, we can't see it that easy on this shorter piece of paper. So this is 4 3/4. So 4 3/4 by 3 5/8. And the reason why that is because we're going to use the leftover pieces to make the 3x3 cards. But let me show you how nice this looks. So this one here first, where we're going to put it up on this black. Oh yeah, I like it. The animal print is coming back in style again. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to use some dimensionals, and we're going to put this up on dimensionals. However, I do not see my dimensionals. Let's see here. I don't think anybody's been in my storage room here, but hold on just a minute. Let me find some dimensionals from something else I got. Okay, so the thing is, when you put the dimensionals on here, we want to be sure to put it behind where we got some paper, right? Because this is clear. We've got it on. See here, we've got it right here. And we're just going to put this right here and back, and we can put one in the center too. But just main thing is just get your dimensionals right there so they're not seen when we go and put them down. Now, they do have black dimensionals. I don't have any of those handy. In fact, I was looking for, usually have 1001 dimensionals, it seems like, everywhere. And I don't even see any except for the ones I just robbed from my paper pumpkin. Go figure. Whoop, whoop. All right, so I'm just going to center this. Look how nice this looks in the black. All right. And then from here, I'm just going to put on here some tape. So I like this animal print paper. You saw that I had my shirt on. Oh yeah. So see, it doesn't really matter, right? Because all these pieces were there. We just have to decide which one at the top, which one at the bottom, what direction you want it to go. And then we're just going to put a monogram on it. So I just stamped the letter here in black, because, you know, if I'm using the black mat here, I really want to stamp in black ink, right? And I wanted to use black mat here. So I'm just going to put these on. And then I'm going to lift it up with dimensionals, right? Because I got the pretty paper, and I want to still be able to see the pretty paper. And if I wanted to, I could even double stack, and I'll show you what this sort of looks like in a minute. We'll get this on here, and I'll show you what a double stack would look. So yes, you can. You can double stack your dimensionals. We don't do it very often, right? Because we want to make sure it goes in the card just fine. Right here. Okay. Now, if I just put a regular, just one dimensional, all right, so this is what it would look like if I just did, so we're making a monogram note card, right? Or monogram card. So that would be one dimensional. If I wanted to lift it up even further, that's how high. So I don't want that. I did use it for something else, but you know, those are always choices. I like to know that we have choices, right? And we're only limited by our own imagination. So that's the main thing too. So I'm just gonna put mine like down right here. And what I did is I brought some different bling. And I'm telling you, I thought of the diamond looking bling, the rhinestones, only because Africa has got the largest diamond mine. This reminds me of diamonds. So I did that here. And I brought some other things too. So we're going to make 2 more cards, because I can make 3 cards from what I did today. So if you take a 4x6 strip of window sheet paper, like I did, and you do this right here, we will be able to make 3 total cards out of this. Alright, so here is card number 1. I started with the largest card first, and I did write the dimensionals down. Let me find the dimensions for you. Okay, so I used a 4 3/4, actually I used a little bit larger. I used a 4 3/4 by 8 window sheet, but I think I sized it down just a little bit. Just check it out. I started off originally with this, but I ended up changing this to a 4x6 because 6 inches is as long as my paper would go. So this would be the original one, and this is where I sized it down to a 4x6 inch. Okay? Or you could sit up there and do it just a little bit smaller. But, you know, working it kind of down, this here is a, if I had to guess, this is about 3 7/8. So I stuck with 3 7/8 by, let me get this other for you. Four 3/4. So I stuck to 3 7/8. And actually it's 3.75, 3/4 by, oh no, it's not 3.5, it's 3.5. So I have 2 of these, so this will be easier. So this is 3.5 of 4 3/4. And this leaves me extras left over. So these are templates that I use. And then I just use this one here to say, all right, what am I going to need? I decided I wanted to go a little bit bigger, so I actually stepped up on that. So that's what I use my templates for, but look at that. Isn't that really nice? Very classy looking. And all we had to do is just take our scraps and put them together. All right, let's see what those 3x3s are going to look like, because they're just as classy too. And I'm going to start with one that I did a different color. This one. So I'm going to put this on the side up here. This one here, I used the cream colored paper. And it was just to show you what a difference it can make. So I literally had 2 of these and I cut them in half, right? So when I cut it in half, and I'll give you the measurements here, this ends up being a 2.5 by 2.5 is what it should be. That's a little bit less than that. So it's actually 2.5 by, looks like 2 3/8. So basically I took my leftover piece and just cut it in half, and you can see that because this is a half of a piece. And then here's the other half of the piece right here, and I'll show you that. So originally it was the same height as the other, and I just cut it in half so I could have 2 pieces to give you 2 totally different looks. So I'm going to take this one here and put it on this dark brown here. So see how that really makes it pop? So you get 2 different looks, right? Just by sitting up there and using different colored paper, we get 2 totally different looks, which I always think is so neat. So we're going to sit there and put this right here, and we're going to create our little 3x3 cards that we usually start off with. But today I figured that it'll be second instead of first, because I wanted to show you how we created it to begin with, right? Okay, we're going to get this off here, and then we have to put on vanilla, because actually if you take this Early Espresso, which I call it's a dark brown, really dark brown, Early Espresso, and it looks very lovely on very vanilla, which is a cream color, right? And I'm just going to center it, and then we're going to turn around, and we're going to put this on with adhesive. Okay. And we're going to put this down just like this here. Alright, we did the same thing. You can hear the monogramming here. I set up there, and this time though, we stamped the Early Espresso ink on this here. This is just punched. I have a 1.5 inch punch, and I have a 1 3/4 punch. And then we're just going to put these two together and put some embellishment on it, and it's done. And again, I'm just going to put this up on dimensionals just to give us a little extra look, right? Gonna be able to see that gold. And then I actually have some gold embellishments we can put on here. Go with that gold there. So yes. And if you have any questions, let me know. This is just a fun way. I'm just going to actually stick this one in the center since this is a small note card. I have some notes I need to send out some people. And this would be just a great way to do this and show this off. And all I'm going to do is take this. These are little, I think that was, yeah, it's gold. I'm just checking on the lighting here to make sure it was gold, because these are gold and silver next to each other. And these are just some little festive things. We've got a number of different things that are in gold that you can put down here. But there you go. Look at that. All right, and last but not least is I've done another one, but I just did it smaller, right? So when things are smaller, you have to just make adjustments. So I've done the same thing here, just like the same thing, except I'm going to do it in black instead of the Early Espresso or the dark brown. So this will be very similar to the larger card, except the fact we won't have quite as many layers since this is smaller. So I mean, really, that's the only difference you get into, is you can't layer quite as much, right? So we're going to do the same thing here. We'll put it up on dimensionals. This is just such a fun way. So I actually used this animal print because I had this as leftover scraps. Now for the life of me, I can't remember if it was originally a 12 by 12 or if it was my sample from my sampler pack that I did with my team and customers. Which is a great way to try different paper, right? But I saw it as a scrap. I was thinking, man, we gotta use this. So there you go. So it's just simple creating. Like I said, you can do this with any paper. I would most probably, it goes really nice, I think, if you use the same paper in the same pack, right? Because everything's coordinated. Doesn't mean you couldn't do it with any crossing over any paper, or if you wanted to actually even add some touch of just cardstock. If you wanted to textured cardstock, you go and texture it by embossing it. You might like that as well too. Just some different ideas. Okay, I'm just going to stick this one in the center just like I did the last one. And so this one I'm actually going to use the little silver. Now I'm just going to show you the difference, right? Because we're dealing with smaller things. Yeah, this is actually even smaller for me than my nails. So we're just going to make it smaller, right? That's all we're doing. This is just leftovers that I had also from our last retreat. So there you go. So let me just show you the difference. And we made 3 cards. We made 3 easy cards. It takes no time to put the strips down. But here's the first 2, or I should say the last 2. And you see I just used the silver and the gold there. And here, this one, I used the rhinestones that make it look really sleek looking with diamonds, right? It makes it look, gives it the diamond look. All right, so there we go. There are our 3 cards we made today. Very simple, very easy to make. Right? It's just really classy having that with the black and the Early Espresso. with the trimmings and the monogram. It just makes some very nice, elegant looking, classic cards to be able to give to others. So I hope you enjoyed this, right? Because it's all about creating, sharing, and giving. So with that, I hope you follow us. Hope you enjoyed today and follow us not only here on Facebook but YouTube, and we also post all of our pictures of our cards on Instagram and Pinterest. So with that, be blessed. Go out there and create, share, and give and touch someone's life. All right. And don't forget that we do have sign up for the retreat beginning on Friday with early bird registration. Whoop, whoop. So there you go. Be blessed. Look forward to seeing you next week on Keep It Simple or Step It Up. Bye.